what I'll start with this situation is I um one of the things that I'd love to say I got from Bomani is like I don't do recreational sadness. So like whenever something like this happens, like I really do my best to avoid it. Like I'll stay off social
That's facts.
media and I don't want to see any videos. Like I'm past that point. Like I don't want to I just knowing about it is enough to break my heart. I don't gotta like put myself through like trauma porn. But like
Mm-hmm.
so heard about this and I'm like, God damn, bro. Like like
No,
it has
no.
been a rough month from all these shootings and then this shit. And it's like luckily he's still good and he's still here and he'll be able to hopefully he'll be
Yeah.
able to like perform how he was like gonna perform and over like shenanigans like
Yeah.
like
That's the so talk about this Ralph Yarl situation. What 16-year-old kid, 16, 17,
yeah, I know he was high
teenager,
school.
high school age kid was shot ringing a neighbor's doorbell to get
went
his
on,
little
went on the
brothers.
wrong street.
Wrong, one street over, almost cost him his life. Um, yeah, when I saw it, I didn't. I still haven't actually clicked anything about it.
Yeah,
Listened to a pod that was talking about it, but other than that, I haven't done any real research on it. I just yeah, like I just stayed away. I was like, okay, well, you know, that's we're bound to get one. I don't know when was the last one that we had this year, so it's like,
yeah,
all right, well, I guess we were due. So, but it is it's sad. I mean, of course, it's one of those things where you think about. Well, I'll speak for myself. I'm just thinking about like, okay, I got a kid, I got a daughter, I want a son, I got nephews, I got I got nephews who are now older brothers who will in 10 years be going to pick up their you know 10-year-old little brothers from
sibling.
so it just feels nasty to even have to like fathom or like have to like, oh yeah, that can happen. That like it's just another scenario in which, okay, so if you mess up and go to the wrong house and ring the doorbell, that'll cost you. If you're running through a neighborhood and checking out some houses, that'll cost you. It's like,
If you
all
sit on a
right.
bench playing with a toy gun,
Play with a toy gun, that'll cost you. If you're strolling through your dad's apartment complex with some Skittles in Arizona, that'll cost you. And it's just like, okay, cool. So the guy was, he was brought in, released, I think a couple hours later, was what they said. A
yeah.
couple hours later, and went back home, had a nap. And then I guess, I don't know why they decided to go ahead and bring him in, but they did. And he's
You
now
know what I
facing some
think?
serious charges.
I think it was social media for real. Like the first,
Oh, it could have
like
been
I,
that. Social media is fake.
it's so funny because like in my best attempts to stay away from it, that's what I kept seeing. Like I kept seeing the picture, and
Mm-hmm.
so and it was almost like people were reposting the same like posts, or
Mm-hmm.
not reposting it, but like copying and pasting it and posting it themselves and then sharing it. And I seen that shit so many times. And then literally the next day I get the CNN blast and I posted on my Instagram. I was like, man, that was that social media working because I didn't know nothing about it. Then I knew everything about it. And
Right.
then there was a slap on the wrist. And I was like, damn, that worked faster than I thought. Like
Yeah.
sometimes I'm discouraged by social media. I feel like, or the internet in general. Like, was this shit a mistake? I think of this like every other day.
This
And then shit like this happens. I'm like, this is how social media is supposed to
is
work.
what we're
Like,
supposed to be doing with
yeah,
this
this is
power.
like there is a
Absolutely.
little bit of hope. Yeah, the part ironically enough, when you were talking about like having younger brothers and siblings and cousins, or nephews rather, it made me think of like all the times I probably did that because I got a younger brother that's closer to me. Like we're like 3 years apart, but I
Yeah.
got two other younger ones right now. One that's 19. Well, I have five younger ones in general,
Right.
but they range from 26 down to 15. You know, and I remember one time me going to some lady's house because I uh I had his Game Boy, and we were both playing. We were in this apartment complex that was like for single women, and there was like a Y in the middle, like for
Mm-hmm.
kids to wait for the bus and shit like that. And I was playing with a kid's Game Boy. He left without it, but I knew where he lived because we all lived in the same shit. So I walked down there to give it to him, and she like his mama came out and like was mad at me and yelling at me and like accusing me to steal it. And I didn't really. I was like 5 or something. And I remember thinking
See,
like, why would I come here if I was gonna steal it? Like I'd have just kept it, you know. And then my mom came back because I was sad, and then she went and cursed the lady out. And I'm like, man, that shit could have went so left just from the shit
hey,
we just found out. It could have been some shit like that where it's like, oh, he doing shenanigans because of course, let's
of
just blame
course
it
he
on.
is.
Yeah,
Of
he's got to
course
be.
he is.
He ain't even
Why would
open the
he be
door.
here? And that's the sick shit about it. It's like my dog didn't even he ain't cracked the door. He like and literally that's he shot through the glass from the door. That's insane. It's just like so you really and then opened the door and shot again. It was like up and it's just like what is going on? Like I don't understand how this is. I don't know. Understand how this is a thing. I don't understand why we still got to deal with stuff like this, but it is a reality. And yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like there's no way to tell anybody to defend themselves for it, or there's no way to tell like nobody needs to stop doing what they're doing. You didn't do anything wrong.
It's
Like
so random.
there's
It's
there's
it's so
it,
random.
it's literally there's no even like there's no comfort or like new light or advice you can shed on it because it's literally just like I don't know. Like there's even the respectability factor where it's like okay, well this why would be telling y'all not to wear them hoodies, telling y'all to put y'all pants. It's like oh there's no thing you can say where it's like
James Blake, professional tennis player, got profiled outside of his hotel at the U.S. Open, and he's a tennis player, so he was wearing like some polo or some shit, and they slammed him in front of the hotel. Like,
yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like okay, I guess maybe this is another one of our myriad of perfect victims, and just thank God he's actually alive. But once again, this is so he didn't. There's nothing wrong with him. He's not like he doesn't have any pictures throwing up the middle finger that we've seen yet. If you guys haven't dug up yet, he doesn't have any videos of him smoking or anything that you guys dug up yet. So all we got
my
is a picture with him and his saxophone being a great kid. Uh, and so what are we gonna do now?
yeah, this is I I knew they wasn't really playing fair before, but
Oh,
when what was it? I think it was Philando Castile. He was
well,
the registered gun owner.
mm-hmm,
That was him, and I was
not a
like,
peep.
when they killed him, and in the video, he's like telling them, like, look, before y'all go to tripping, because I'm trying to get my license.
Mm-hmm,
My shit is in here. I'm not doing nothing. I'm a registered gun owner. I
mm-hmm.
can show you all that. And they lit him up with his kid in the car, with his child's mother in the car. And I'm like, when that happened, and I was like, because
That's
they be saying shit like, comply. And it's like, what the fuck was I thought that was what you was supposed to do. Like,
forthright. Not only is he complying, he's forthright. Like it's like
yeah,
I'm not even like I'm complying before you even get a chance. Like and it's still so it's just like these are one of these cases where it's like okay it's lined up exactly the way you want it, guys. Can we get how about some justice here? And of course there's no
yeah,
justice for the kid possibly having life altering injuries. There's no real
yeah,
justice for that. It's just like okay so it's so unfortunate it's just all around bad because it's like okay cool y'all didn't there's not going to be any legislation. There was no legislation around George Floyd, and the whole country was on fire. Uh, there's no legislation around any of the mass shootings, so they're not. They're definitely not going to be like, okay, well, we need to amend these castle doctrine laws or whatever these stand your ground laws or anything like that. There's not going to be any movement there because we've seen they won't move when it's a whole bunch of younger white children. They won't move when it's they just so it's like it's one of those things where it's just like I don't know, guys, just I don't know, maybe go with your kid next time if possible. I don't know. It's like it's just nothing you can say. It's nothing. There's no silver lining or anything to come out on top of this one. It's just like thank God the boy is alive. Thank God Ralph survived. Um,
Yeah,
and that's
yeah,
really just
that's
it.
ill. Yeah, that's pretty ill. Yeah, yeah, that's one of those ones. And now, I've read up a little bit on it and heard quite a bit on them now. So it doesn't feel like there will be any weird pictures because I know it's always bad faith actors around this time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I usually just stay away from it anyways. But hopefully there isn't no shenanigans. Now I would probably say on the other side of shenanigans.